I would like to introduce another promising speaker, Maxim Celmarev.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maxim Celmarev. I am a psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and for some time I taught philosophy for future psychologists. And I'd like to invite you today to some thoughts about our development. And these thoughts I will base on the philosophy of Seren Kierkegaard, Danish philosopher. And there is a famous story about him. Kierkegaard was in a cafe. He enjoyed cigarette and coffee and thought about his future life. He thought that all geniuses, all great men was able to simplify our world. And he thought, I am not a genius, so I'd like to go another way. I would like to make this world more complex. And he decided to make our world more complex, but aiding the humanity, the questions of our existence to our philosophy. It was the middle of 19th century. It was very rational time. Many physics and many scientists then, in that time, thought that all are discovered. Kierkegaard showed us there is nothing about it. For me, one of the most important ideas of positive psychotherapy is the idea of development and differentiation. And in terms of modern psychodynamic approach, we can speak about level of integrations. And this level of integrations can be described by this model. Because stage of interaction is not only the stage about communication. It is a stage based on our development from the early childhood, from birth to grave. And the first stage means the fusion. I have no limits, I have no borders. I am united with my mother, with my family. And then, because I have a dependence from them, I can be alive. So the dependence is is a very important thing to feel safety. And we have an attachment. And if dependence is the source of being alive, the attachment is the source of development. And then, during interaction, during communication, we differentiate ourselves from other persons. And then, we became autonomous. We form our self-image. We are able to know ourselves, and we can live our own lives. And we have 4 spheres of life development. There are different developing rules of body and organism, of the social economic sphere, the sphere of contact and relationship, and the sphere of meaning. And I think this differentiation looks like the evolution. From one cell, one totipotent, pluripotent cells, to a multicellular organisms with a lot of functions, with specialized cells. So we can speak about the development of different spheres. Body has the embryological, biological dimension of developing. Our embryological stage, differentiation in histological way, and then morphological differentiation from the conception to the end of our life. The sphere of achievement in modern world are very connected with different social institutes. Origin, family, kindergarten, school, university, work, and so on and so far. And if you are a good member of these communities, you achieved a lot. In the sphere of contact, we go from the origin family and with fusion with origin family to our capability to choose our social environment, to create our own way. And what about meaning? What about our mindset? Is it clear? I think not. Now we live in a biological, social, economical world, but not in the world of meaning. And if you will speak about meaning, about philosophy in scientific sphere, you can be blamed. You speak about some rubbish. You speak about speculative things that can't be evidence-based. Because the spiritual dimension is a dimension of our own experience. It's very personal. It's very individual. And it can be reduced to numbers. I want to mention about two things. The first is the Socratic task, or a Socratic approach of Kierkegaard. When he was a student, he chose the topic of irony in Socratic philosophy. What did Socrates? He asked questions. He asked questions to destroy stereotypes and to reveal the inner self, the inner meaning of everyone he met. And the second thing that I should to add, it is a meaning of the word theory. Theory in Greek is theoria, that literally means contemplating the God. In Platonic philosophy, contemplating the God is to catch the idea that lays behind all things. So if you can catch the essence of all things, you are contemplating the God, you are contemplating the essence of everything in this world. And Kierkegaard said that there are 4 stages and 3 crises between the stages. The first stage is usual stage. We live as one of a humankind, one of a mass. And I live my life in the way as others do. But then we think, why we should live this way? Why I should live as others? I need to live better. And then we go to the second stage, the aesthetical stage. And maybe if Kierkegaard will be a modern philosophy, he said the achievement stage. Because it is stage when we achieve a lot, we want to have, we want to fulfill our needs, we want to live better than others. But when you live only for yourself, you are not happy. And when you disappoint in this style of life, I have everything, but I am unhappy. You move to the next stage. If I live for myself and I am unhappy, I can live for others to solve them, and then maybe I will be happy. We are psychotherapists. We serve to others. Is this only a source of happiness? I think not. Many people in our world on these stages solves to others, but they have no knowledge about countertransference. And it makes them unhappy. You live your life for others, but it did not become better. And this is a very serious disappointment. A man gives up. He said, no, my life can become more good. There is no meaningful ways. And when he gave up, he turns to himself and he became to be able to hear the voice of God in his soul. This is the conception of Kierkegaard. To return to yourself, you need to go somewhere. It is a classical story. The story of Odyssey, maybe. You need to have a long journey to return to yourself. And it's hard true, but true. There is no way to become more integrated and more developed except disappointment and experiencing problems. And we as therapists can organize personal growth using the energy of difficulties. And also, what we are doing in our chambers, we organize controlled crises in the safe place of therapy. And I think this is one of the essences of therapy in spiritual sphere. You can pass this crisis in this world, or you can reflect about yourself and be face to face with yourself in the chamber of therapist. Each stage have very important essence. The first stage, the stage of usual man, reveals us the connection with the world of human beings, and it is a source of trust. The second stage, the ethical stage, reveals us the connection with personal needs, our own needs. The ethical stage reveals the connection with others, with society. It gives us responsibility. And then the fourth stage reveals us the connection with God and the real self. So you can only pass the stage step by step. And this is the spiritual differentiation. I think we did not see human beings in this way in therapy for a long time. But nowadays we have a very complicated and also a very simplified world. We can use our telephones, internet, and so on and so far. We are more and more detached. We are not so dependent from nature. We have our own nature that we can name culture. But also we need another task. We need to go further than our culture to ourselves. Again, the stages of interaction. We was attached with the nature. We differentiated from him by our conqueror atmosphere and the philosophy of conqueror of the nature. And then, now, we can co-evolve and coexist. And I think we can do it both in the life of the whole world, but in the life in one person who came to us. And I think this is the essence of crisis intervention. Crisis is the period when you cannot be able to live the same life as before. And if you will learn how to live another life, you will develop on the next stage. I have met one colleague in Vladivostok University, and he asked me, Maxim, you are a psychotherapist, and what modality do you belong? I said, positive psychotherapy. He said to me, oh, I know about Peseschkian, but I have my own conception of positive and negative psychotherapy. Negative psychotherapy, and when your client came to you with problems, you simplify these problems, you reduce him, and on the lower level of existence, he can say, oh, there was not a problem. And the positive psychotherapy is our capability to grow and from this perspective solve this problem more effectively. And I think this is the aim of crisis intervention. And it looks like the post-traumatic, post-stressful growth And we should use these things. We should use philosophy to become more experienced psychotherapists, because there is a sphere of meaning and you can't neglect it. Thank you.